Capital and labor. The new class of factory owners. Industrial development brought new social relations and intensified long-standing problems between capital and labor. Manufacturers waged a constant battle to cut their production costs and stay afloat. Artisans and skilled workers had unparalleled opportunities while the ethnic and religious groups had been discriminated against. As factories grew and opportunities declined, formal education became more important for advancement and was indeed expensive. Leading industrialists were likely to have inherited their well-established enterprises and had a greater sense of class consciousness. New factory owners. The countries that followed England were able to benefit from the English experience in social and technical matters. The Industrial Revolution in England had critics, and some were romantic poets. Some observers believed that the conditions were improving for the working people. In fact, Andrew Urey wrote in 1835 in his study of the cotton industry that conditions in most factories weren't harsh at all and were even quite good. However, there was little or no increase in the purchasing power of the average British worker from 1780 to 1820. And with that in mind, the hours in the average work week increased and workers earned more, and workers ate more healthier food and of higher nutritional quality as the Industrial Revolution progressed. The first factories were cotton mills in the 1770s, and cottage workers were reluctant to work in factories as the work was different. In the factory, workers had to keep up with the machine and had to show up every day and work long, hard hours. And cottage workers set their own pace as long as they can meet the deadlines that week. The cottage workers' reluctance prompted early cotton mill owners to turn to children for their labor. By the 1790s, the use of popular apprentices was in decline and forbidden in 1802. People often came to the mills and mines as families, which made the surrounding a little bit more tolerable during the industrialization. Enlightened employers and social reforms argued that humane standards were necessary, used wisely to circulate parliamentary reports to appeal to the public opinion. And finally, the Factory Act broke the pattern of whole families working together in the factory because efficiency required standardized shifts for all workers. Many manufacturers and builders hired workers through subcontractors, who paid them on a basis of what subcontractors and their crew produced. By tradition, certain jobs were defined by sex, but tasks might go to either sex because of particular circumstances. Women found lonely, limited job opportunities, while married women were much less likely to work full-time for wages. Also, married women who did work for wages usually came from the poor. The growth of factories and mines brought the unheard opportunities for girls and boys to mix on the job. And the segregation of jobs by gender was to help control the sexuality of the working youth. The Mines Act of 1842 prohibited underground work for all women, as well as boys under 10. And many kinds of employment changed slowly. Farms and domestic labor continued to be the most common, and small-scale handicraft production remained unchanged in many trades, which helped ease the transition into industrial civilization. The liberal concept of economic freedom gathered the strength, and the British government attacked monopolies, guilds, and combination. The Combination Act of 1799, passed by Parliament, outlawed unions and strikes. Parliament repealed the Combination Acts in 1824, and unions were tolerated. Robert Owen then tried to create a national union of workers, and then after 1851 the craft unions won benefits for their members. And lastly, Chartism was a workers' political movement that sought universal male suffrage, shorter work hours, and cheap bread, and workers developed a sense of their own identity.